Hello and welcome to our special show, the Tata versus Mistry case. Now, the NCLT verdict in the Tata Mistry case is out. The fine print shows that the tribunal has made some scathing observations against Cyrus Mistry. Now, the verdict says, and I quote, "It appears that Cyrus Mistry, because of heartburn due to being removed as executive chairman, tried to steamroller several business decisions upon Ratan Tata so as to bully him and the Tata Sons," end quote. Arun Giri from Taxsutra joins us with the details. Arun, take us through the key highlights of the order.
It's a 368 pages order, and it'll take a few hours to go through every word of it. But we've tried to do it, me and my team, over the last an hour and a half to and some not just scathing observations, but some critical remarks, as well as very detailed observations and conclusions in this order. Every allegation made by the Cyrus Mistry group has been dealt with in the NCLT order. For example, the Sivasankaran allegation, what does the NCLT say? No money has been paid by any of the Tata Group companies for the acquisition of TTSL shares by Siva Group. It cannot be attributed that the company incurred loss by acquisition of shareholding of TTSL by Siva Group company. Further, it says, as for the TTSL acquisition, it cannot be said that as a careless decision taken by management at that time. Same on the AirAsia decision, where again Mr. Mistry alleged interference by Mr. Ratan Tata and saying that this was a bad decision. What does the NCLT order say? It says that the AirAsia decision was not a fait accompli upon Cyrus Mistry. All sorts of allegations regarding AirAsia transactions have been made with impunity by Cyrus Mistry, flouting all legal principles. It further says Cyrus Mistry took active part in AirAsia Incorporation, presided over a meeting to further fund it. And then, these remarks are very critical. Cyrus Mistry and petitioners have gone ahead to make a scurrilous statement without a shred of paper that Mr. Tata funded one terrorist through Hawala with diversion of AirAsia funds. Also, with regard to allegations on the Nano project, again, where they say that Mr. Tata wanted to keep the project going. It says that the allegations made regarding the Nano project is without making Tata Motors a party to the case. NCLT feels they should have been made a party to the case. It further says almost all suggestions on the Nano project from Mr. Ratan Tata came on being solicited. Then it says the petitioners so disgustingly tried to drag in the concept of shadow directors to tag Mr. Tata and Mr. Soonamwala. One more allegation was that Mr. Ratan Tata tried to, favor Ola, where he has an investment. There again, the NCLT says that Mr. Ratan Tata did not say that do a deal only with Ola and not with Uber, where Tata Motors was in talks with. In fact, Mr. Ratan Tata expressed his anguish that such a big deal of Ola buying cars from Tata Motors was left off the table because action was not taken in time by Mr. Cyrus Mistry and the board. It also then makes some generic remarks regarding Mr. Ratan Tata and Mr. Soonamwala giving advice to either Mr. Cyrus Mistry or to Tata Sons. It says that Mr. Ratan Tata advising in relation to affairs of a company cannot be construed as conducting the affairs of the company. Not a single instance, the NCLT says, not a single instance in history of the company or in Tata Group, at least in Cyrus Mistry's tenure, that Mr. Ratan Tata's advice has been directly put into action without placing before the respective board. And the crux of the decision, which captures probably the corporate democracy rule which the NCLT has affirmed. It says, by virtue of Tata Trust being holding 2/3 stake in Tata Sons and Mr. Ratan Tata heading the trust, as per the rule of democracy, these companies have to be run at the wish of majority. That is, the trust headed by Mr. Ratan Tata. The NCLT also upholds the sacking of Mr. Cyrus Mistry and says that it is evident on record that Mr. Cyrus Mistry created a situation that since he is being the executive chairman of the company, he is not accountable either to the majority shareholders or to the trust nominee directors. So they've also rejected the allegation of Mr. Ratan Tata being privy to any insider information or having violated any of the SEBI regulations. That in a nutshell is some of the key conclusions, findings of the NCLT order. We have with us a well-known legal expert, managing partner of Legasis, Mr. Suhas Tuljapurkar. Suhas, your first reaction to this 368 pages detailed NCLT order?
Thanks, Arun. Arun, you are right that on all 10 counts that the adjudication has happened, NCLT has ruled that there is no mismanagement neither is there any ground for operation. And in coming to this conclusion, I think NCLT heavily relies on the fact that there has been no ground made up for winding up on just an equitable reason, and that has to be proved for any operation or mismanagement allegations to stand. Having said that, you see, I'm sorry, the NCLT also comes to the conclusion that the jurisdiction under Section 241, 242 of the Companies Act is an extraordinary jurisdiction. And this is where I think the entire interesting aspect has been discussed across the judgment. That there is no conflict between shareholders' democracy and primacy of shareholders versus the corporate governance. What was tried to be made out was that corporate governance is slightly different in its perspective than the shareholders and democracy of the shareholders. What the judgment all across seems to suggest is that there is a fiduciary duty, and that arises out of corporate governance for board of directors to act in the interest of the company, and therefore all the decisions taken in the interest of the company, do they stand the test of fairness or not? And I think in coming to conclusion on all 10 counts, whether it is Air Asia or whether it is Shiv Shankaran shares, I think they have come to a conclusion that there is no material to indicate that there is no fairness in these allegations, and therefore the allegations have been rejected. Having said this, it's also important aspect for all of us to realize that this is the court of trial, in as much as I think on the merits and facts of the case, I think this is the court that's going to come to the conclusion. If there are legal issues, they would get adjudicated in the appellate forum. But insofar as the merits of the matter are concerned on the facts of the case, I think the factual determination and adjudication, this is the final authority.
Yeah, Suhas, can I?
Authority.
Yeah.
Sure, Arun.
Suhas, we have a couple of minutes left. A few more key conclusions of the NCLT regarding the personal allegations made against Mr. Ratan Tata, that he was a super director on the board of Tata Sons. What they say? They say that we don't find any. They say they don't mind any merit in this argument. They say Mr. Tata as well as Mr. Soonawala gave advices on being solicited for they being richly experienced over the affairs of the company. What is wrong in giving suggestions, and in what way has it affected the affairs of the company? Suhas, these are important observations.
Absolutely right, and I think the NCLT has come down heavily on these allegations, which according to NCLT are completely unsubstantiated. In fact, they go the other way around. In effect, they say that, yes, it is in the interest of the company to seek these advices and opinions. The second aspect, as we move towards the future part of it, one of the very important aspects that's ruled by the NCLT is that Article 75 of the Articles of Association of Tata Sons is a valid article and legally binding on everybody. What the article in effect means is the company's power to transfer shares by way of a special resolution, asking any ordinary shareholder to transfer the share in favor of a transferor or in favor of a transferee, in accordance with Article 58.
Yeah.
It's a very important observation.
Yeah. Suhas, we have completely run out of time. Thanks so much for joining us with that quick analysis of this long order.